You finished that speech in the EU with some strong statements at the end. I don't have all of them, but you went to say nature was hijacked, science was hijacked, morality was suspended. And then you go on to say no more gain of function research, period. No more weaponization of nature. No more corporate patronage of science unless they assume 100% product liability. And you said some more things. Where do you go from here?
Well, I have the worst batting average of probably any human being. I've been at bat on this thing for a long time. And you know that the balls and strikes and outs are not in my favor. I've tried to activate attorneys general. I've tried to activate prosecutors. And I did file the only federal case on the CMS mandate, which we filed in Utah last year. I have gone as many different at-bats as I can imagine, and I still do it. Right? We still have this conversation, and some people would be probably questioning at this point in time whether I'm just a raving lunatic, which, there's plenty of folks who are on that side. But I do know that since we talked last, Brian, I've had the great fortune of having my son and my daughter, respectively, provide the next generation in my family. I have a 10-month-old grandson. I have a 6-week-old granddaughter. And there's something about the world that I'm seeing through their eyes that is the fuel to fuel the reactor that needs to run inside of me to keep me going. Because there's something I recognize about the perpetrators of these crimes. They've lost touch with humanity. And they've lost touch with even what the term humanity means. They actually believe in a Yuval Harari. We can all become AI. We can all upload ourselves to the cloud and then have this kind of digital immortality until, I don't know, a lightning strike takes us out or a solar flare takes out the memory chips or whatever. But the fascinating thing is when I hold my little grandson, and when I was so fortunate to be one of the very first arms in which my little granddaughter was placed, I look at them and I see a world that is not remote. It's not far away. It's not something that we have a hard time imagining or accessing. It's a world that if we choose to, we can see today. We can still be human. We can still say that the analog experience of humanity is what we choose. And we don't need to be digitized, and we don't need to be uploaded, and we don't need to be any of those things. And by the way, whenever my use date hits, I'll be poured out like spilled milk. That's fine. I don't care. Because somewhere on this body, there's a use by date, and afterwards I'll probably stink. So let's just get rid of me when that use by date hits. But between now and then, I think advocating for things like liberty, I think advocating for things like the rule of law, I think advocating for things like educated citizens who are informed when they make decisions, I think those kinds of things are timeless. So I don't think you can fail at a mission that's always relevant. I don't think you can fail at having this conversation one too many times. I don't think you and I can find enough cool shirts and ties to ever bore the population with all of the information that is required to have an educated electorate that then can hold people accountable. And so what I've had to do in the what then is I've had to change my outcome. And I will tell you what, and this is a fun anecdote of that European Union speech, but it's a good one. The organizers of the conference reached out to me and said, would you be willing to come over and do the thing in the parliament? And I said no. And the reason I said no is I was tired of the short format, revolving door, what I call the drive-by shooting presentations. I think if you're going to solve a problem that was 58 years in the making, it's going to take more than 15 minutes on a stage. Because you can't get all the facts out in 15 minutes. So I said I wasn't going to go. They came back and said, well, we'll give you a little more time. I said, okay, not enough. And they came back again. And so I came over to Brussels, no kidding, with an agreement that said I was going to have 45 minutes. Now, some of the parliament members were a little slow in showing up. You know how official things happen, and the start time got pushed back, and all kinds of other things happened. And I kept getting these notes. Hey, 45 minutes isn't going to work. Can you do it in 35? Hey, 35 isn't going to work. Can you cut it to 30? You know what happened next. I got 21 minutes. I'm not complaining, but I will tell you that there's a part of me that was a little pissed off. Because I came for a 45-minute presentation and I got 21 minutes. And my wife, Kim, woke up early. It was being live streamed. She woke up early at 3 o'clock in the morning here in Charlottesville, Virginia. And she watched the presentation. And giant surprise, are you ready for this? Dave Martin, the impervious to anything that ruffles the feathers. I called her afterwards and I said, man, that sucked. And there was a long pause. And she goes, what do you mean? I said, I had so much else to say. So much else to say. And she just had this long, wise pause. And she goes, I think you said exactly what needed to be said. And she said, just wait. Well, Brian, not only was she right, and now we've recorded that I've said that my wife is right. So there's the evidence. We'll play this 1,000 times. But what happened next is amazing. We had 20 million views, and then we got picked up in Hong Kong and soon became 1 billion views, and then got picked up in India and Sri Lanka and all across Africa and all across Europe and on numerous parliamentary and news and other channels. And before long, over 2 billion people had encountered this message. And the reason I'm saying that is because I got it wrong. My great speech that no one ever heard wasn't the great speech. And for whatever reason, those 21 minutes just might be the very best, worst performance I ever had. And the reason I'm saying that to everybody is because if anybody thinks that Dave Martin has it right, I didn't even have that right. I thought that people needed a longer story. I thought they needed a longer message. I thought they needed more pieces of the puzzle. But you know what? My wife was dead on, because it turns out that 21 minutes was long enough to engage people and not too long or too short for them to make the commitment to watch it. A whole number of people on TikTok and other social media tried to shrink the sound bites down. Here's the 7 minutes of the David 21 minutes. And here's the 3 minutes of the Dave's 21 minutes. And almost all the comments on all of those shrunk down versions was, I want to see the whole thing. And Kim was right. And I was wrong. 21 minutes was exactly the 21 minutes the world needed. Not what I needed. Not what I would have even thought was ideal. It's the 21 minutes the world needed. And the reason that's important is because people need to understand that even the people out in front get it wrong. I thought that that was mediocre at best, and I thought I had failed. And it is truly the best failure I've ever had. And I hope that we can see in the humanity of that story the point, right? We're going to win some and we're going to lose some, but we're stupid if we think that we are the arbiter of the final story, because we're not. I'm doing my part. You're doing your part. Mickey's doing his part. The other people you've talked about are doing their part. None of us know which one is going to be the one that tips the scales, but I can guarantee you that if we're silent, none of them will tip a scale. So here's to my continued failure, because it's freaking taking the world by storm. And I hope I fail up every time.
So Jim Rickards has just recorded a video that's not available to anyone in the public, and he's going to be talking about how this upcoming recession is going to be fast, it's going to be bloody, it's going to be nasty. But at the same time, he's going to show you how you can position yourself to profit from all of this chaos. Now, we've made this video only available to our viewers. Go to londonreal.tv/Jim. Watch that immediately. I can't say enough good things about Jim Rickards. He understands the global economic system better than any guest I've ever had on London Real. His predictions are almost uncannily true, and you can learn how to profit from his vision, from his expertise, and his understanding of economics. So go to londonreal.tv/Jim or click the link below. It's an excellent, excellent look on what's going to happen in the future and how you can position yourself to profit from that. Jim is one of the best in the business, one of my favorite guests on London Real, and he's very, very good at predicting the future and showing us all to profit from it. So click the link, and I hope you enjoy. Hey, it's Brian Rose, founder of the DeFi Academy. I've told you my 4-week crypto bootcamp is amazing, but don't take my word for it. This is what my students are saying.
The DeFi Academy was an amazing experience for me. It took me totally out of my comfort zone.
In this course, I was challenged, I was held accountable, and pushed to do things that honestly weren't always easy.
It's been phenomenal, and I can't believe we're already up on our 4 weeks. It has flown by.
Going through this DeFi accelerator by far was one of the best courses I've taken.
You do this course, you really get into the nitty-gritty of the activities that will make you comfortable with decentralized finance.
Thank you so much to Brian and everyone at London Real and the DeFi Academy for even putting together an amazing course like this.
Anybody else that wants to do it, please sign up. It is well worth the money.